Ciao, I'm Kate Portanova, your host, Italy Experience Guide, and lifelong lover of all things Florence. This podcast is your ticket to discovering the authentic side of Florence and Italy, one story, one dish, and one piazza at a time. Whether you're dreaming of sipping espresso in a bustling cafe, wandering cobblestone streets filled with history, or connecting with locals to experience La Vera Italia, you're in the right place. Join me as I share my journey of living, breathing, and embracing Florence's beauty, culture, and charm. Along the way, we'll explore slow travel, cultural immersion, and the simple joys of Italian life, with plenty of insider tips and heartfelt stories to inspire your next adventure. So grab your cappuccino, before noon of course, and let's dive into the magic of Florence together. Ciao, everybody. It's Katie from Truly Italy and this podcast, Florence and Me. If you listened to last week's or 2 weeks ago episode on how to plan one slow week in Tuscany, today we're taking the next step, how to choose your base. Because knowing you want 1 week in one place is great, but then you get on Google Maps, pin 17 towns, and have no idea which one to pick. In this episode, I'm going to walk you through what makes a good base in Tuscany the different types of places you can choose from, and the mistakes I see all the time when people plan their trips with me, and a few simple questions you can use to decide what is right for you. By the end, my goal is that you'll feel clear on where you want to land and not still drowning in tabs. Then you can pause the scrolling and actually start planning. So the real job of your base is not where your hotel is or your Airbnb or your villa is. It's the container that holds your whole slow week. It has to work on a couple different factors: your travel days, so arrival and departure, your lazy and rest days, things that went completely sideways, days like rain, you're exhausted, maybe you have a sick child, or any type of change of plans. So think about, from my last episode, one base, not 5, okay? Think about that. What a good base in Tuscany needs. The frame, this checklist, I'm going to walk you through it one by one. Everyday life within walking distance. So this is something that I have been talking about the last few weeks on my podcast, probably the last month, about how important it is to really connect with locals and the culture when you are within walking distance of all these things. A bar, cafe, a small grocery shop, or alimentari, which is a deli, but also they can sell sandwiches, they can sell goods like paper towels, toilet paper. A pharmacy is key, especially if you need medication or over-the-counter stuff, and a couple places to eat. The reasonable day trip radius, or the distance to one town to another, I recommend 30 to 60 minutes to 2 to 4 interesting towns or areas that you are interested in. It would be best if it's between 20 and 30, 60 minutes. I don't know if I want to always do that. Be traveling for an hour every day to and from, so basically 2 hours a day to a town. But those are the time limits I suggest. Nice to be in on a do nothing day. So when you think about those day trips, and also maybe you just don't want to do anything that day, so it'll be nice to be in a place or around a place where you could just wander or explore or take a hike or just sit in a cafe and just listen to people talk or people watch. Streets that you enjoy walking. So it's really important when you're searching for a town to look up on Google and also maybe articles about the town to see if you like those streets. Maybe those streets have a scenic view. Maybe those streets have a beautiful bench that just looks out into another piazza, whatever it might be. Like I said, a bench. There's a beautiful bench lookout viewpoint in Radicondoli. The first day we got there, I found it, and we watched the most beautiful sunset from that bench. Somewhere to sit with a book or have an aperitivo. Again, a bench. It could be in a piazza. It could be next to a church. These are places that you could really learn how to just relax completely and be immersed in the culture. And if you're sitting and looking at this view, a bonus is that if it really makes you exhale and just really be present in the moment, that is the place that you need to stay and visit. Now, already I've talked about it a few times on the podcast, like how we found it and why. Radic ticks all of the boxes for exactly this type of slow week, and also a beautiful base because it is within an area where there's a lot of towns to visit. The people are so welcoming and warm, and the views from the top is just amazing. And Maya she might come over. So yeah, that's why we, and myself, I've decided that Radicondoli is a perfect spot for you to call your base for a whole week in Tuscany. A base that I didn't like, perhaps because we weren't in the center of the town, or also I've kind of was biased to where we were, is the town called Castelfiorentino. And we used to do our villa trips there the last few years. And the only thing that it didn't work, at least fully for me, is that I really missed walking to a cafe or walking to a restaurant or even having some other views or just connecting with locals. We didn't get that at that place because we were up on a hill in this beautiful villa, which I hope to go back to someday, but it's just not where I find you could really connect with locals. So types of bases and who they're good for. So a tiny hill town, similar to Radicondoli, okay? The pros of having this type of base is it's very quiet, community feel. You're going to feel like you're part of the community towards the end of that week. And a strong sense of belonging, which, I mean, we were there for 2 weeks and we also spoke Italian, but I saw them with plenty of foreigners and expats and Americans, Europeans, and everybody in the town just seems so incredibly friendly, even if they don't speak the language of the traveler. The con, which I wouldn't call it a con because I think everybody should have a car, especially in Tuscany, is that you're gonna need a car. And there aren't many options at night. So if you're somebody that looks for like they want to go clubbing or dancing or late night something, then this is not the type of place for your base. I would say this is best for people that are okay with driving. Maybe they enjoy exploring, maybe even getting lost because that's what happens when you're traveling. And people that want to feel like they're part of village life. The second one, small town in wine country. So Southern Chianti or Maremma, like these are places where there's plenty of vineyards nearby, beautiful scenic drives, and there might be a little bit more variety having to do with excursions. Maybe there's more cooking classes. Maybe there's more kind of craft type of classes. This is still a con is it's car leaning, so you're going to need a car because those winding roads, I wouldn't suggest taking a bus, and it's going to be less walkable than being in a major city like Florence. I would say this is best for couples and friends who love long drives and love long lunches, especially at vineyards, because family-run vineyards love having you for a long lunch. And then the last option, edge of the city. So someplace maybe on the outskirts of Florence, outskirts of Rome, near Lucca, because Lucca has a train station. So these places are pro because you don't need a car. You can easily take a train to these places and get around easily by train because trains in Italy are phenomenal. There might be even buses you could take. The Sita is a really good bus line. It's just a matter of like having to wait for a bus. I mean, when it's hot in the summer, it's probably not the best, but maybe you like doing that. Also, there's more food choices because you're going to be in a place like Lucca. So the cons I would say on this is less village feel. It's more touristy. And this is where I kind of lean away from this because I've been living in Florence for many years. I lived in Lucca for a while. I know how touristy it can get, and it's just, you can't connect with people when there's too many tourists. This is best for, though, staying on the edge of a city like Lucca or Florence, tackling those rotondas, those roundabouts, and maybe you're a first timer to Italy. Then yeah, this is a perfect option for you. And those that want slow days but bigger city visits. So you could easily have a slow day in your small Airbnb outside of Lucca, but then be able to make your way into Lucca, take the train. So there's no right base in Tuscany. I want to really emphasize that because I'm not saying one is better than the other because everybody travels differently. So there's only what's right for your energy, your comfort, and your season. So if you're there in the summer, there might be a better place that you want to be. Maybe you want to be by the seaside so you can have access to a beach. And maybe in the winter, you want to go to the mountains because you like to ski. I mean, there's all these different things you have to consider for yourself. So some common mistakes when choosing a base. picking the base or the city or the small town only because you've seen it to be famous or Instagram pretty. Now, yeah, there are plenty of beautiful small towns in Tuscany, but it might not be a place where you want to spend a week, especially in the summer when everybody goes to the seaside. Choose a place that's really just a suburb with no real center, which happens a lot. I've heard of people like choosing some place in Chianti because they want to be near vineyards, but like a town called in Radicondoli, or what was the other one I was thinking of? Anything that says Chianti, which is a very, very small town, beautiful views, but really no center for you to really immerse and talk to people. A common mistake, which many, many people that come to me for trip planning, this is what they try to do, being 90 plus minutes away from everything that you want to see. And this happened to me once. I got my clients a beautiful villa in southern Tuscany, and they were adamant about going to Cinque Terre from southern Tuscany. Now, that is a good 3 to 4 hours if you don't get lost. It's just not worth it unless you really like being in the car. Just being aware of that, like if you have something that you really want to see, maybe you search around that area and maybe you'll find that town that's right for you. Another mistake, booking a stunning isolated villa with 45 to 60-minute drives every single day. Again, I've seen this before and I'll probably see it again. People maybe have chosen a villa because it's, maybe they won the villa in a contest, or with a bunch of family, they've agreed on this villa. You got to really research before you book something like that. There are plenty of villas in the middle of nowhere that are gorgeous. They have a pool. They have probably a chef and a housekeeper and everything. But do you really want to be in the car just like before 90 minutes every single day or 60 minutes every single day? Maybe 2 hours? I don't think so. You're really missing out on the connection and community feel of a small town. And then another mistake is ignoring how you actually like to spend your lazy days. Now, I did this a few times on my retreats, on my travel experiences in Tuscany in the past. If the weather is not good, we spend it at the villa. I always have a backup plan with lunch or dinner or spending it at the pool, whatever it might be. But if you really want to be lazy, you should follow that. If you're exhausted from driving 90 plus minutes the day before, I would suggest you should not ignore that feeling of like, I kind of want to just lay around this villa today or this Airbnb or this beautiful apartment and maybe walk the streets when I'm well rested later. Listen to that part of you. Listen to that intuition. So I've given you a few stories about how I learned this the hard way. There are a few times where I had some clients that really wanted a specific area, or they wanted to be near the seaside, but to get anywhere comfortably would take more than an hour. And I had to talk them out of it. And actually, I lost that client because in the end, that's not what they wanted. They really did want a villa that was close to the seaside, but close to everything else, which you're not going to find, especially in Tuscany, because there's so many beautiful areas that spread all over this beautiful region that if you find a villa in the seaside near, for example, Viareggio, to get to Florence, you're still going to have to drive a good hour, especially in the summer, because traffic is horrendous in the summer. So that's usually how people learn it the hard way when they're driving nonstop. So how to decide for your own trip? Here are some 3 simple questions for you to either write down or maybe you listen to this later to understand how you're going to decide what base is perfect for you. Do you want more village, more countryside, or more city energy? Everybody's different. And again, I'm not saying one is right, more correct than the other, okay? Everybody has their preference. Number 2, are you comfortable or do you need trains and buses? Are you comfortable driving or do you want to use the train system or buses? If you're comfortable driving, then Tuscany is open for you because you can get anywhere in a car. And your last question to ponder, on a lazy day with no plans, what do we want to be able to do on foot from our door? Now, this is hands down, I think, the best question, because when we were in Tuscany in early March, earlier this year, it was still winter, but some days were close to 60, which we're really lucky. But there was so much we could do without getting in the car around that town, around Radicondoli, where we would go for a hike. We would go sit in a cafe and play cards. Like, we had things to do. So these are the 3 questions to ponder as you go forward in choosing your base. So from those questions, make a short list of 3 possible bases in Tuscany. Run through each of the checklists and these questions. So think about, does this town give me a more village feel? That's what I want. Great. Are we comfortable driving? Great. Okay. We need to drive to get to this particular town. And on a lazy day, what do we want to be able to do on foot from our door? And if you find when you're researching this town that you're looking at, maybe you have a bike tour that's nearby that you could go to, or you have a hiking trail, or you have a local swimming pool that you could just go to. This is great. This is great. Once you find that, then pick one and just stop scrolling, stop looking at Google Maps, stop trying to go through Instagram and listen to the people that maybe have never been, but they just heard it from somebody else. Go with your gut. So to recap, your base is the container for your week. You want to be comfortable. You want to be calm. You want to be relaxed. It needs everyday life. A good day trip radius, like I said, 30 to 60 minutes, even 20. I would say 20 would be ideal, but 30 minutes is good. And pleasant, lazy days. So having that ability to still immerse yourself in the culture and the people and also be lazy. I mean, come on. Why not? You're on vacation. Choose a type based on your energy and transport comfort. So choose a base that you will feel when you read about it, and maybe you look at pictures like, okay, this is where I feel like being. And I can drive. That's fine. We can drive with the couple that we're traveling with. Avoid pretty online bases that turn every day into a commute. Again, there are many beautiful, beautiful towns in Tuscany and in Italy. But if you're having to travel really far to each different excursion, seaside, or another town, it's really probably not the one that you want to stay in. So yeah, I hope this helps you understand and maybe evaluate your next slow week in Tuscany. If you want an example of how of a base and how to structure a week around it, my slow week in Tuscany guide gives you a complete 7-day, one base itinerary that you can adapt for you. I'm going to put the link in the show notes for that. And if you're stuck between a few bases or your map already looks like spaghetti, and you can book a 60-minute slow Italy trip planning session and we'll figure it out together over Zoom. And if you rather, I hold the container for you. The June 2027 Tuscan Village Week interest list is in the show notes if you'd like to join me next June. So yeah, I hope this was helpful. And if you are looking for a yoga retreat, I am partnering up with an amazing studio and my friend Melissa. Again, this will be our second one. It's called the Yin Yang Retreat to Italy. That is in Tuscany as well in early June next year as well. I'll put a link into that show note as well, into the show notes as well. So yeah, I hope this is helpful. I'm so happy that you're listening to this. Please keep following along. I've got some news coming up about my citizenship and our move back to Tuscany. We can't wait. So yeah, allora, buongiorno, buonasera, buonanotte, wherever you are. And I'll see you on the next podcast. A presto. Ciao, 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 ciao. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the heart of Florence and beyond. I hope today's episode has inspired you to slow down, embrace authentic travel, and connect with the beauty of Italian culture. If you loved what you heard, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share the magic of Florence and me with your fellow travelers. Until next time, remember, the best way to travel is slowly. Ciao for now. See you in the next episode.